I want to qualify for the Fly Fishing World Championships. But to get there, I need to work my way through the Scottish National Fly Fishing League, the SNFFL. And that's not exactly easy to do. First of all, you need to get into the SNFFL. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how my practice and eventually getting up into my first event at the SNFFL landed me a spot in the first division of the SNFFL for next year. And I could not be more excited. This is a huge update video, and I didn't think we would have an update this early in the series. But come with me on my second episode of the Road to Worlds as we talk about fly fishing practice and the SNFFL. Now, I'm no stranger to competitions. I've had some really good results this year in loch style fishing, performing well in a bunch of different competitions. But rivers? That's something I've never competed in before. And I want my shot at the Worlds, but I'll need to master the rivers first. And because the SNFFL has half still waters and half rivers, just like the World Championships, I need to really get on my A game on the rivers before I can expect to get anywhere inside of the first and then Premier divisions. So with the help of my friends, I decided to jump in at the deep end and enter the league itself, the very same league that's the pathway to the Worlds. Now, to understand how it all works, I spoke to Gillies, the man who runs the SNFFL and manages the Scottish World Fly Fishing team, as a decorated competition angler himself, and he walked me through the league format, how the beats are set up, how every angler gets a controller to measure their fish, how every session is scored. It's a brilliant system, but it means that there's now nowhere to hide. You against the river, every fish counts, that's the competition style. Now, to qualify for Division 1, I needed to prove myself at a SNFFL event, and it's my very first river competition session ever. I managed to catch 6 fish, and for me, that was huge on the river. And to put it in perspective, Steve, who's currently the Premier Division leader and the consecutive 3-time winner of the Premier League in the SNFFL, he managed 8 on the day, which was extremely impressive in the tough condition. And I was absolutely over the moon with my 6, 4 of which measured. But it was an absolutely unbelievable experience. And I'm going to chat about this over the top of some of the footage of my first ever power hour. Let's go through it right now. This is some real urban fly fishing. Let's go for a practice power hour on the River Clyde. Right now I've got a dry dropper on a micro leader, so I'm going to practice that. Never really tried that before. Never tried this stretch of river before either though, so we'll see how that goes. But this is the way in. Some jungle warfare to get into it. This is good. I say that. There's a nice path in the jungle, so how jungle warfare can it be? Right, we'll see you on the water. I spoke too soon. This is mega jungle warfare. But that's the nature of the beast of river fishing. In fact, I'm going to flip this around so that I can see where I'm putting my rod tip, because I've already got a wee leaf in it. Oh Christ. Be fairly easy wading. Yeah, it looks like it. You can see the bottom there already. So I've got myself set up. Oh yeah, this is nice. This is really nice. Really shallow. Looks shallow all the way across. Just sit here for a second, see if we can't see anything. Before I go up, there's a run of rapids up above this bridge that I parked next to that looked really good. And that's where I want to go try nymph a little bit. Can't see anything. There's a fish came up in the mainstream there. We've got to have a shot at him before we go upstream, eh? Even if just there's actually quite a few fish moving in that slightly shallower water. Let's see
That's floating okay. Yeah, that looks good. That is dragging bottom slightly. I'm going to apply some mucilin to that dry fly. Here's my dry dropper. I've taken, that's basically Howard Croyston's Caddis floating indicator fly, and a wee Perdigon as well. So let's see if this can, it's a 2.8 millimeter Perdigon, so it should be fairly easy to hold up. Oh, that fish is feeding nicely. I maybe should have tried. It's ticking along there. Yes. Oh, take bottom there, and it felt like a fish. Fell. Alright, let's try those fish. Let's go. Now I'm confident with how the rig's set up. I'm gonna just move up to where I actually want to be fishing. Now that we're properly into the practice power hour here, I think this is probably a good time to just talk over the top of what I'm practicing here. So, well, in this video, we're basically talking about my practice leading up to this SNFFL event that I managed to get along to participate in, effectively to try and qualify for the SNFFL next year. And leading up to that, I really wanted to try different methods that might be trying on the day, because obviously I've never tried any river competitions before, and so I felt like I wanted to be a wee bit more equipped than just one method. Having gone out a couple of times with the Euro nymphs after that video last week, I felt pretty confident on the Euro nymphs, so I wanted to try Euro nymphs on a dry dropper rig, so fishing this micro leader with the full mono just like Euro nymph would, to FIPS-Mouche rules, fully to FIPS-Mouche rules. I'm going to try and keep everything in competition style so that I'm able to actually get used to that competition style fly fishing. And having this rig set up exactly as I would use it in a competition really helped me get used to that style of fishing and get me confident with it. But that was really handy for this day. I mean, the SNFFL event, we managed to go along to the river tunnel. It was absolutely amazing. I'm going to talk about the setup just now and how it was actually put together. So when you turn up to a SNFFL event to FIPS-Mouche rules, which is exactly what the Scottish National Fly Fishing League is, it basically replicates the World Championships. It replicates exactly what you would experience in the World Championships, which is really cool. And everyone is effectively split up based on the beats that you're randomly assigned on the day, exactly the same as it would be in a competition situation. So the first division, who is made up of 16 anglers, is split up with and paired with people in the Premier Division. Now, everyone that's in the Premier Division has had to work their way up through the first division into the Premier League. The top three every year of the first division get into the Premier Division. So it's like effectively a league table, where the people at the top of the first division get into the Premier, and if you're at the bottom of the Premier, you get demoted. And now that's exactly the same as the first division. If you're in the first division and you're in the bottom three places, you get demoted. Now, to qualify for the first division, it effectively is just participation in qualifiers. So if you come along to Sniffle events as either a guest angler or as a qualifier, and you prove yourself to be able to fly fish and you actually qualify beating other qualifiers, then you're able to qualify for that first division. That's effectively what I did in this tunnel event. So I went along, it was really hard conditions. I was given a beat, an hour and a half sessions, not even a full 3 hour session is how it would normally function. You would basically get an hour and a half on one beat and then an hour and a half on another beat, and that would be your full 2 sessions for the competition. Now, as a guest angler or as a qualifier, we were given an hour and a half each to fish and catch as many fish as we can in that hour and a half, just as you would on your first beat. And I managed to get 6 fish, which for me was amazing. That was really good. The tummel was fishing. It was fishing quite well, and where I felt like I maximised my chances a lot. I was fishing full Euro nymphs, and being able to get 6 fish out of where I was really, really exciting. I've never had so much fun. And I was there with one of my friends, Andy. My mate Andy fished really well as well. He managed to get a bunch of fish, hooked into a bunch of fish on the beat that was just up from me, and I was able to watch him land probably one of the best fish I've ever seen landed by Andy. It was amazing. So he was also there at a qualifier. It was just amazing vibes. Being able to have a Premier League angler, Steve, who's been the previous winner of the Premier League the last 3 years in a row, was so cool. It was amazing. I learned a lot that day. And that's really what I wanted to try and do in the first place, was jump in at the deep end and just learn as much as I could. By going into the Sniffle, I feel like this is the best way I can learn these methods and get better river fishing. It's just by watching people and being around people who are better at this type of fishing than me. And so, like, you see here that I'm mending a line for a dry dropper. I'm trying to fish it as dead as possible. This is all stuff that I've learned from other people. And I learned so much on a Sniffle day. But it was this huge moment. Being able to qualify for next year was amazing. It was so much fun, and I can't wait for next year. It's gonna be amazing. But back to this power hour. So I'm fishing dry dropper here. It's never something I've done before in a micro leader. It was harder to cast than the regular Euro nymphs because you've got a lot more weight with 2 nymphs on. So fishing a single nymph and a dry fly, it was actually slightly more like casting a regular fly line. You had to give it a little bit more oomph, and you were waiting a wee bit longer for the nymph to flatten out at the back, but it was very similar in the same style. You see here that I'm flicking it back really fast and giving the nymphs all the weight, trying to get that nymph to punch out and carry the dry fly over the top of it to get it sinking down as fast as it can and fishing ready. And I'm just watching that dry fly going under, and as soon as it does go under, that's when I know I've got a strike. But it was really fun fishing this dry fly, and this bit of the Clyde was really cool. Like, I've never fished the Clyde before, so it was a brand new bit of water, and being able to find these little pockets and these little seams, fishing it differently, it was really, really cool. Yes. Quick change. Into a nice grayling. Oh no, yeah. Come on. Yes. Let's go. That was on the blowtorch. After getting that fish on the dry dropper, my confidence absolutely skyrocketed with this technique. It really is a really visual version of Euro nymphing, like even more so than the leader I found. Just watching that dry fly constantly was really easy to focus on, and I felt like you got a really nice drift with it. So that quick fish made me really excited. But let's talk a little bit more about the Sniffle. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about the Sniffle was how welcoming everyone was. So there's the first division and the Premier Division, but everyone in that league, including everyone that runs it, Gillies and all of the guys that run the events, it was absolutely brilliant. Everyone was really welcoming. They were super supportive about learning, about being able to, join and trying to qualify for next year. Everyone was there, felt like they were supporting you almost, which is completely different to any sort of competition fishing I've ever done before. It was almost surreal. I really, really enjoyed it just for the fact that everyone there was just nice. It was crazy. It was really nice. And not only that just made me fish even better, because I had almost no nerves whatsoever. So going out and fishing after having just a nice time chatting to everyone that was there was brilliant. And we stayed until the end, so the prize given at the end was really cool. We got to see who won the first division, which was actually my mate Connor, who has his own YouTube channel as well. So I'm going to pop that in the description below. Go and check out Connor over at Clyde Trout Fishery. He's got an amazing wee channel and a brilliant fishery, and just happens to be an absolute demon on the rivers. This is his first season in the first division, and he won it. So he's definitely a rod to watch out for. And in the Premier Division, of course, it was Steve who won the Premier Division again. An absolutely brilliant guy. He was really interesting to talk to. He knows his stuff on the river so much so that I was just annoying him all day with questions. It was brilliant to watch, and well done, Steve and Connor. That was absolutely top angling from both of you all year. And one final point in this video is something that everyone was talking about at the Sniffle, is the 5 Nations is on this year in Scotland. Now, I didn't know what the 5 Nations was until super recently, until this Sniffle event, to be honest. And I think that that's a sin, because this is one of the coolest competitions I've ever seen in Scotland. Very similar to the international competitions I've been to, where we have Scotland, England, Ireland and Wales. The 5 Nations is a FIPS-Mouche run event, to FIPS-Mouche rules at least, and it's run by the same guys that run the Sniffle. Gillies is the main coordinator of the 5 Nations, doing all the work in the background. And this competition is so cool. It's between Scotland, England, Ireland, France and Luxembourg. And it is an amazing format that's basically the same as the World Championships, but on a mini level. And it's getting run this year in the 16th and 17th of September. And they're really looking for controllers to come along to this event and actually help control. So if you want to be a judge, effectively someone who stands at the bank and watches world-class fly fishing all day, then get in touch with either me or any of the guys at Sniffle. If you go around and have a Google on Facebook and on Instagram, you'll find them. And if you want to get involved, then get in touch with them on Facebook and on Instagram, and you might be in with a chance of actually watching some world-class fly fishing from your own first perspective, which would be unbelievable. So they're looking for people. If you go along and help them out, then you'll be able to get £20 a day for your controlling, but also just to actually watch some insanely talented fishermen fly fish on the highest possible stage. So yeah, get in touch about that. And this was the end of my practice power hour. I'd effectively ran through this method in this one spot that I could have done, and I got that one fish out of it. But it was so much fun to get out and practice this, and then the Sniffle went even better. So if you guys like the series, leave me a comment. Let me know if you'd like to see anything else. I really wish I wore a GoPro when I was out on that Sniffle event. It was all caught up in the moment, and I never even thought to record anything. But it was so much fun. This is a huge update. Didn't think it would be moving this fast, but come on, the Road to Worlds is well underway.